How's it going, everybody? In this video, got some massive new updates regarding Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, as far as some stuff we may have kind of guessed at or kind of known a bit. I mean, this game's already been in development pretty much ever since like Rebirth released. If not, there was some development time put into it before it even came out, because they don't have to do much to start development on Part 3, as there's already a foundation with the first game in the remake trilogy, and then the second game added more to that foundation. So it's not too surprising that the Untitled third entry has currently been in development for 9 months. And the other thing too is it's not next gen exclusive. This is awesome. This report comes from Gametsu, who actually reported on this from an interview that Hamaguchi had with 4gamer.net. And before we get into the details of this, well, it's awesome how Rebirth just launched on PC at a discounted price, mind you, and is arguably the best version, if not the most definitive way to play the game over the PS5 or even the PS5 Pro Enhanced version of the game. And I'm glad it came out a lot sooner on PC versus the prior game, which if you did not remember, but let us know, it had an exclusive deal with Sony PlayStation for at least a year, I believe, on PS4. And then a year later, they decided to add the DLC intermission to it, and that extended the exclusivity time for PlayStation until eventually came to the Epic Game Store. Then the Epic Game Store had an exclusivity deal with it until, I think, for a year, until it came to Steam, which is crazy. So it's interesting on what they're planning to do for Part 3, because I believe that the devs said they're not trying to, if not the devs, but the higher ups, the CEOs, like, no, we're not going to do any more exclusive deals anymore. Because in reality, even though the money they took like over a decade ago seemed like a good idea at the time, well, locking your game to one platform does limit you on how much you can earn financially and as a business if you're trying to be making more money every quarter, every year, things like that. And let's be real, Square Enix, like all these other companies, publishers and devs, they are here as a business and they're trying to make money and make more money all the time. So that really hurt them. And it's good that they're no longer going to probably be doing any more exclusive deals. But let's get back to the topic at hand with Part 3. In this report, Hamaguchi quotes talking about, regarding the third game, we started working on immediately after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth around March or April 2024. So we've already been in development for about 9 months. Our goal for 2024 was to solidify the gameplay experience we were aiming for with the third entry of the Remake project, and we put together a great build that aligns with the team's overall direction and vision. Starting in 2025, we've entered the phase of building and refining the game based on the plan we've established. Development is progressing smoothly and at a good pace. Following the schedule Hamaguchi initially laid out, he can't say when he'll be able to share more information, but please stay tuned. Producer Katase added, when it comes to large story-driven RPG projects, the pace of development depends heavily on whether the story itself is fully locked in. For the third game story, after I received the scenario from Nojima, I asked him to give it a greater sense of completeness since this is the final game. We just wrapped that up a few days ago, so I feel things are progressing smoothly. And while Final Fantasy VII Remake originally released on the PS4, as I mentioned earlier, the sequel Final Fantasy VII Rebirth released on PS5 without a PS4 version. The devs were asked whether users can expect the third game to follow the trend of only being available on the next generation of consoles. Katase laughed and said, no, don't worry about that next time. Essentially confirming that the third game, the Untitled Part 3 of the Remake project, will not be exclusive to any platform, specifically PlayStation. And to me, that's very good news, because I believe in previous reports at some point, they were talking about how they want to aim for the third game to release in 2027. It would make all the sense in the world, because that is the 30-year anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So I believe that's the goal they're trying to go for. It's already 9 months into development, which is very, very good. It's 2025 now. We could easily possibly get a teaser announcement later this year, maybe at Summer Games Fest is my best guess, considering that with the first game, I think we got like a teaser announcement, a few years before it launched or released. No, the first game was 2015. It got announced, and then it took 5 years because of some weird development stuff. I think CyberConnect or whatever was working on it first, and they didn't like what they were doing, so they took it back internally and spent like 2 to 3 years essentially building it back up from the ground up and pumped it out by 2020. But for Rebirth, I believe in 2022, we got the official announcement or teaser announcement for Rebirth, and then it came out in 2024. And since they're trying to aim for 2027, I believe, and this is speculation, they will probably drop an official teaser announcement for Part 3, the official name for Part 3 later this year. Most likely at Summer Games Fest, because that's what they did before, I believe, with the other announcements. It was like either Game Awards or Summer Games Fest. Usually they dropped an announcement. So if it's not Summer Games Fest, maybe Game Awards, they'll drop it. Either way, exciting stuff. And the fact that the story, for the most part, is complete here. So essentially they just got to apply it to the gameplay mechanics, side quests, things like that, to help flesh out the story, expand it, and make it fun for the players. And with there already being so much kind of already done in a sense in terms of foundation built with the first game plus Rebirth, to me, realistically, yeah, I could see them coming out with the third game in 2027. It'd be cool too if they probably finalized it with like a 3 disc for the physical, just to kind of like, have a nod to the old school version in some way. Just have drop maybe on 3 discs. They already did 2 discs, for the last one, and I think Remake, F7 Remake was 2 discs, if I'm not mistaken. So Part 3, probably 3 discs, with how much they're going to add to it in terms of content, because Rebirth was a ton more content. And by the time you beat it, essentially, builds up to the end of disc 1. And with Part 3 essentially being disc 2 and disc 3 combined, which makes a lot of sense because disc 3, if you remember, wasn't really much other than wrap up of side quests. Maybe you didn't finish or still had to finish, things like that. And then essentially the final boss fight was Sephiroth. So disc 3 wasn't much, right? So it makes sense that, yeah, Part 3 is going to encompass what disc 2 had and disc 3, expand upon it, add more to it. I imagine this is going to be another 100-hour overall playthrough experience. That's including side quests and main story combined, plus whatever, mini games and other side activities they put into the game. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Sound off. Does this make you excited? More happy about it? I know I'm personally excited about this and cannot wait for this to come out. Does this make you feel better about the progression of the development for Part 3? What do you think Part 3 could be called? I still don't know for sure. I don't have any real guesses yet. I'm kind of just going to wait until they officially reveal it. Nonetheless, though, if you found this video helpful and enjoyed it, please hit that like, subscribe if you're new. My name's Mike, and I'll see you in the next video.